She's very young. Still has romantic ideas about the war.
And you?
War is not romantic.
There's a problem.
What going now?
It is your duty to stay alive and continue fighting.
If we fail, I fear freedom will be wiped from the map.
I was gonna say, do you remember? Because you know I'm a big Nolan fan,
Yeah.
like the whole fucking planet.
Yeah.
But yeah, that trailer is not bad.
Pretty good. How many times have you watched it?
I watched it. I only watched it once, but you know what's funny?
Could you see Cillian in it?
I don't want to make any comments, but what's really funny is I was on. This is completely not about your excellent movie, but I was on the set of Transformers yesterday in Detroit, and it was actually a subject that came up with with Bay and some of the producers. That trailer, you know,
Naturally.
talking about it.
That's at least 3 other people that have watched it. You'd be happy to know.
Are you guys doing like the franchise comparison thing where you're like making, you know, you're talking about which ones you're a part of?
No, he just can't stop talking about himself.
Well, I got to tell you, he was like that on the set of the movie.
I know, it's just relentless.
Yeah, it's nonstop. But let me be serious for a second and say how much I enjoyed this movie. It's so well done.
Thanks, man.
For both of you, talk a little bit about making a movie, like balancing the fact versus the fiction, and the fact that you're making a movie, but you're also trying to honor this story and these people.
Yeah, I mean, look, you're constantly carrying that weight of making sure you honour the people involved and honour the history and pay respect to these brave men and women who carried out, you know, the operation. But in the same breath, you're making a movie, or you're making a piece of entertainment, and you're trying to, you know, elevate it and make it as sort of watchable and as filmic as possible. So there'll be times where you're not making a documentary. You know, there's times where you want to bend things slightly to make it more of an entertaining thing. But on this, we are certainly aware that, I think, as far as like historical movies go, this is sticks pretty close to the facts. You know, which was important to us. You know.
Well, you guys worked with someone. It's interesting that he's a writer, director, and he's the DOP. Yeah. So talk a little bit about working with a filmmaker who is right there, I mean, making some key decisions.
Yeah, he's kind of ultimate kind of polymath. He kind of does everything, and he lived with this story for 10, 15 years or something like that. Yeah, it's crazy. So he was this huge resource of knowledge for us, and gave us all of this information that he had amassed over the years, and it's just very comforting and reassuring to have someone who knows the story and the subject matter so in-depthly as Sean does. And you know, I've never had a director also shoot a movie, but it makes it feel like he's going through everything that you're going through. Like he'd be running down the street behind us with the camera, you know, like. And it's a big old camera because we shot on Super 16, you know. And so, yeah, it was fantastic. I really felt that the three of us were making this thing together, and that we were all, you know, really in it together.
For both of you, I would imagine that when you were researching this role or these roles, you must have learned a lot about the history and the time period. Is there one or two things for each of you that you learned that you're like really surprised or really stunned, you know what I mean, that you wanted to take with you?
Well, I mean, I didn't know anything about this actual piece of history at all, and I didn't realize the sort of significance in that it altered the course of the Second World War, and then, you know, consequently altered the course of history, really, you know, and obviously in the Czech Republic, this is a huge part of their identity, and now it's great to see that, you know, that hopefully that globally people will kind of, you know, recognize it. But it was all new to me.
Yeah, and to me, I mean, I first admit that my Second World War history was very threadbare, you know, and there's so many, you know, different aspects of the war that had massive effect on the outcome of it, that there's probably plenty more that I'm not aware of, but I certainly wasn't aware of this, and this had such a huge impact on how it played out.